Hi guys, today we're back in the sewing cave. My kids have gone to the park with my husband. I have foregone going to the park so that I can get a bit of sewing done over the next 25 minutes or so. And today we are going to be attaching the sleeves. We're going to be setting in the sleeves on this Burda 10 2020 number 120. So let's see if we can get that done as quickly as we can. So very quickly, lighting is very poor, so things are a little bit on the dark side today, but better sewn than perfect, guys. Better sewn than perfect.
Right, for today, we're working with our bodice pattern piece here, which has been sewn along nicely. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab the sleeves. Okay, got the sleeves here. And we've done the gathering stitches on the sleeves. So in order to ease the sleeve in, we're going to have to pull at these gathering stitches, and then we will be attaching it all the way along here. Okay, so one thing to note about Burda patterns is that with your sleeve patterns, they tend to notch the front of the sleeve. So this little notch on here tells us that this is the sleeve that goes on this side. Okay, so we're going to start off with this. How I like to do my sleeves is that I'll start off by making sure that I clip these together. This is the bodice over here, and that's the underarm point. So I start by clipping this connecting point together. Just like so. And then I walk the rest of the seam allowances right up to this point where the easing stitches start, and then I'll clip that in. And then at this point it's easier for me to turn it out like this, so that I'm working from this side now. And then I'm going to go over to the other side, and I'm going to walk the seam allowances together right up until I get to where the easing stitches start. And I'm going to clip that just like that. Okay, so the next important point is to clip the shoulder point, and I do all this before I start pulling on the easing stitches. So I'm just going to find that notch for the shoulder. There it is. So this is my notch for the shoulder point, and I'm going to match it up with the shoulder seam. See, that was my notch there, that was my notch over there, and this is my shoulder seam. Okay, and for this one I will only do just a little bit of it, okay, because I want to be able to pull on the gathering stitches, which have gone a little bit loopy. So yeah, so now this, as you can see here, this is the bodice, yeah, and this is the sleeve, and I have to ease all of this onto this over here, and this is where the shoulder goes, and this is what allows you to move around in your dress. So going to take those two threads over here, Okay, and then we have the same over here where this is the bodice and that's the sleeve, and I have to ease in all of this excess fabric here. So oops. So you sort of have to fiddle around with it a little bit just to try and get it to fit in. But a lot of the work is going to happen when you actually go onto the machine to sew it down, but you want to roughly get it to sort of match up like that. Okay. Don't worry if it looks a little bit awkward. It will all work out once you do the sewing. Okay. And so you kind of will get a bit of an idea of what it's going to look like. Now, we're going to take it over to the machine and we're going to start sewing. When it comes to sewing in the sleeve, I prefer to have the bodice side down, and that's because when we get to the point of easing, I want to reduce the amount of puckering that will happen. So I find that I will have more control if I'm seeing this side rather than this side here. Two pieces of equipment that I will normally use when I'm doing that. I will use my crochet hook, which gives me a little bit of control over here, or you can use the tweezers that come with your overlockers. They really help when it comes to sorting out the gathers and you're trying to do it without any puckering, but I'll show you what I mean. But these are useful to have. But yeah, so I'm going to sew right up until I get to the point where the gathering stitches start, the easing stitches start. So I've got to the point now where we have the gathering stitches, and as you can see, my stitching line is in between the two gathering stitching lines, and the idea is to try and sew it up. My kids are back now. The idea is to try and sew it up without having any tucks or any puckers, and you sort of use this to spread the fabric apart as it's going through. I'm going to try my best to show you without toppling over the camera, but everything is a little bit awkward right now. So I'm using the crochet hook to move the fabric to straighten it out as it's being eased in. Okay, don't worry about it looking untidy. It's all going to get cleaned up. So I'm just going to go around and check here. Okay, it's not too bad. Not too bad. There is a little bit of tucking here, but when we press that, that will come out. So the whole point isn't so much that you're not going to have any tucks at all, but it's that you try and make sure that you have as few tucks as possible. So I have a situation here because I've caught this pleat on my sleeve and we don't want that. So I'm going to unpick this and then just fix it back in. Okay, so I'm going to just unpick this here. Because we want this pleat to be free. This has to be a free pleat. I'm being ever so careful. My daughter is doing her times tables in the background, by the way, so I can just finish this sleeve. Oops, gotta be careful. Okay, right, so I'm just going to go back in and I'm going to sew this back up. It's been fixed now so that the this is free. So I guess when you're doing the sleeve, you need to make sure that you've got this out of the way. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to tidy it up by removing these gathering stitches over here before I go and overlock. Okay, so once you've removed all of the gathering stitches, going to go and overlock and then give it a press. Okay, so now it looks all nice and neat. It's now time to give it a press, and we're going to use the tailor's ham. So when I press my sleeves, especially satin sleeves like this, I tend to prefer to use the tailor's ham, and I will get the sleeves to sit on the tailor's ham as if it's a shoulder, just like so, and then I will be pulling and pressing. And because I'm pressing on the right side of the fabric, I'll be using my pressing cloth. So I just go like that. And I find that this just gives it a better look and feel overall. And then for the side, for the fronts, just like so. on the back. Again, same thing. You're done. Another way of doing a sleeve is to pull your gathering stitches like that, and you can use your sleeve roll before you've even attached the sleeve, right, and give it a steam. Guys, so look, there we go, the sleeves are in now, and that's what it looks like. Oh wow. Turn around. Ta-da! Right, so we've got the skirt now, and we're only going to sew one side of the skirt, and from about here on the other side, because it's got a zipper on the side seam. So we're going to do this one side all the way down here, over the pockets, down to the edge, and then for you, from this point here onwards. Okay, now we're going to press this, and I'm going to use the tailor's ham because the side seam is a little bit curved, so just going to press that down. Oh, I love this. Look at that. Got the pocket there. Beautiful.
Right, my time's up in the sewing cave now, but it's so exciting. We've got the sleeves on. We've started on the skirt. It's a good point for me to stop, and I have to, because I have to go get chicken wings ready for dinner now. But thank you so much for watching. We're nearly there, guys. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the next video we'll be able to finish everything, because it's just connecting the skirt and putting in the invisible zipper and adding the lining and then hemming and then sewing the buttons and then finishing off the bells. So maybe 2 more videos, I guess. But again, thank you so much for joining along in this very slow sew along for Burda 10-20-20 number 120. Hope you're finding it useful, entertaining, and informative. And if you are, please do give the video a big thumbs up. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care and happy sewing. Bye.